Pokernewsdotcom.
Hey everyone, this is Nathan Williams with Blackrain79.com, and I'm back here with another hand history review for you guys. So today's hand was sent to me by Elaine from Belgium, and he has everybody's favorite hand, Pocket Jacks. So it's a 6-max game on PokerStars, although as you guys can see, there's only 5 people actually at the table right now. 2 cent, 5 cents, and so let's jump right into it. So Elaine comes out for the 3x open from under the gun. Pretty typical stuff, of course, there. Get a fold, and then Villain 3 calls on the button. Now, it's important to always look at stack size before anything will back up there. Villain 3 only has about 60 big blinds in his stack there, so basically what that means is just I'm going to be more likely to stack off against that particular player. That player plays a small role in the hand. I'll go into the HUD stats that Elaine gave me for this guy. Told me that he's a 26-10-1. That is the VPIP, PFR, and aggression factor. As always, if you guys don't know what those stats mean, basically it just tells us about what kind of player we're up against, and I'll have a link in the description below if you want to find out how to get these on your poker table. But anyways, when I see a 26-10-1, basically this is the kind of classic, what I call a SLP in my first book, Crushing the Microstakes, which stands for a semi-loose passive. It's one of these players who is a recreational player, probably a small losing player overall, kind of just plays for fun, but not a full-blown mega fish. Like we're going to see with one other player in this hand. So, Villain 4 in the small blind folds, and it comes to the big blind, who is the aforementioned recreational whale, we'll call him. This guy has stats of 44-11. The sample size is only 9 hands, so we don't really have aggression factor here, but suffice to say, with stats like 44-11, this is definitely one of those classic kind of whale fish, the kind of player who's typically a large losing player, the kind of players that really are going to make the most money off of. As I talk about all the time, the whole point why we play the game is to play against these players. So we can already see an indication of this type of player making the minimum 3-bet big blind. I don't have time to go into detail of why that's not a good play in this video, but trust me, it's not a good play. So he should be making it, maybe 60 or 70 cents is a typical 3-bet on the spot. But the 25 cents just invites everyone to come along for the ride, which is what Elaine does, and Villain 3 also calls. So, and I should mention, obviously, there is Elaine did have the option of 4-betting in this spot, maybe making it $1 to go or something. I think that's actually a decent option. Again, I don't really want to get too deep into that in this video, but that is something that, let me know in the comments below what you guys typically do in this spot here. With pocket jacks, like I said, when it comes to you and the fish has made the little mini 3-bet, do you put in the 4-bet here? Do you just call? I think you can go either way, to be honest. In position, I don't mind the call, but I don't mind a 4-bet either. So we go to a flop. It is a very, very action-heavy 8, 9, 7, 2 clubs flop. It's actually pretty decent with pocket jacks because we, of course, have the gut shot to the straights. So it's not a bad flop. I mean, we got the overpair, of course, but it's not really a spot where you want to be ramming and jamming. We definitely do need to play a little bit cautiously on a board like this. So the action in this hand is going to begin with our favorite recreational player, Villain 1 there, out of the big blind, and he's going to go come in for the check. So what should we do here? Well, I think I would probably just bet out here. I don't really want it to just go check, 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 and say a 6 comes off on the turn or just a random club or something. I think I would rather just get some money in the middle here because I think I've got the best hand. So, but Elaine actually does check here. I would definitely say I was up in the air pre-flop on his decision-making. I would say that I definitely prefer a bet in this spot here. We'll see what happens. Villain 3 actually comes in for basically a pot-sized bet. And Villain 1 decides to call, so it's kind of an interesting spot. Like I said before, we need to remember that Villain 3 only started with a 60 big blind stack here, so I'm definitely going to be more willing to get all of the money in against that kind of player. I think you can have a wide range here. Like I said, there's so many possibilities on this board. There's a lot of just, one pair of hands, like an ace-9, an ace-8, and stuff like that I think a 60 big blind stack might be looking to overplay in a spot like this. So who knows what Villain 1 can have. Like I said, he's playing 44% of hands. So I think you can go kind of either way in this spot. You could raise here. You could just call. I don't think folding is ever an option. Elaine decides to just call. I think it's okay. It's a pot-sized bet. I think we can commit ourselves. I think we can go to the turn and kind of make a firm decision on the turn based sort of on what card we get. If it comes like a 3 of diamonds, just we're going with it clearly. Maybe if it comes with the ace of clubs or something, you know, like the worst card, you know, maybe we get away in a spot like that. So let's go to the turn. It comes with a 9 of clubs, which is kind of interesting. It's middle of the road, I would say, board card for us. It obviously completes the flush, but doesn't create an overpair, or doesn't. It's not an overcard. It pairs the top card, which makes it a little bit less likely that anyone has trips or anything like that. And I would say that in most situations, probably our hand is still best. So let's see what Villain 1 does. He comes out for the check again. Elaine checks as well. I don't know. It's a really weird spot, like trying to put... I mean, this is kind of always the classic thing, right? You're against 2 recreational players. It's very, very difficult to understand what on earth either of them can have here. But I think, once again, I would probably just be betting out here. I think that these guys can be hanging on with any 10, 8, all sorts of... a 6. I think that... a lot of these players are just going to call with a wide range. But anyways, Villain 3 does check behind, and we go to the river, which is sort of interesting. Again, I guess the 6 got there. But I don't know. I still think, you know, against 2 kind of recreational players, I think that our hand can still be the best one here a lot of the time. Villain 1 all of a sudden decides to come out of nowhere and bet half pot. I really have no idea what to make of that. It just looks like a ridiculous bluff, honestly, to me, because why is he betting now on this card? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to probably just agree with what Elaine does here. This is a really weird hand. Let's see what Villain 3 does. He folds, so we'll see the results here. And yeah, Villain 1 just has some crazy airball for no reason. This is what recreational players do that I just don't even know what they're even thinking half the time. That's why, like, a lot of times when I'm against these players and there's just a phantom bet out of nowhere, if it makes no sense at all, I mean, a lot of times just call, because, like, that's what they have. You know, like, God knows what they have. Honestly, this is kind of a strange hand overall. I think that it can be played many, many different ways. Let me know your thoughts below on this hand, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of different opinions. I think that my thoughts basically on this hand were that you've basically got 2 options. You're either going to play it a lot more aggressively before the flop. Like I said, we could have put in a 4-bet before the flop. But I think that if you decide to play it passively before the flop, which was what Elaine decided to do here, remember he just called the 25% pre-flop, I think that when you go to the flop and you get a pretty good flop, really, I mean, overpair with your pocket jacks there, gut shot, I think you just need to play it a lot more aggressively in a spot like that. Now, whether, you know, there's obviously a ton of different ways to play it. We could have bet the flop. We could have check-raised the flop. We could have bet the turn. I mean, there's so many different ways, but if you guys catch the gist of what I'm saying here, I like either playing it aggressively pre-flop, and then, of course, just playing aggressively post-flop, because it's going to be a 4-bet pot. Or if we're going to take the passive line pre-flop, then on a fairly good flop like this, a good board run-out and stuff, I think you just have to play your pocket jacks way more aggressively, because, again, these are just 2 fish. I mean, God knows what they can have. They're in there with all sorts of crazy stuff. And, of course, these guys just love to call anything. You know, as played, I don't know. I mean, it's... I do like the call on the river, I'll say that, because I just don't think Villain 1's bet, I have no idea. It just seems so weird. How could the 5 of helped him somehow? You know, if he does have some massive hand, you know, it's just... just everything about it was completely weird. So I do like the call on the river, because it's just... I have no idea what that bet means. If it makes no sense, I'm calling, usually, is kind of like my philosophy. Anyways, that's a pretty crazy hand, guys. I don't really know what more to say about it. I hope my analysis was helpful. Like I said, I think really the educational point that I'd like to make in this hand is just make clear-cut decisions. If you're going to take the passive line pre-flop, then you need to understand that your hand is underrepresented, and when you catch a good flop, flop and board run out, you need to be playing your hand a lot more aggressively. Or, of course... you can just take the aggressive action pre-flop here and put in the 4-bet with the 4th best hand in poker. That is also, of course, another option, and that always makes our decisions much easier after the flop, of course, because you're in a 4-bet pot. There's just so much money in the middle. In a spot like this, you're just going to get it in. It's not even an issue. Anyways, that's basically all I got to say on that hand. Like I said, on this hand, Like I said, let me know your thoughts below. This is a crazy hand. I mean, there's so many different ways you can play it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my comments on how to play this hand. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see lots more crazy micro stakes poker hands like this. Oh, and by the way, thank you, Elaine from Belgium, for sending me this hand. Super interesting. Hopefully my analysis was useful for you as well. Lastly, for all of you, make sure you go download a copy of my free poker cheat sheet. It is called Massive Profit at the Micros. It is the top link in the description below. It's a 50-page little free ebook that'll give you my complete strategy on how I beat these stakes. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. This has been Nathan Williams with Blackrain79.com.